30th, 2015, and I'm Martin Gonzalez. In the studio that we lovingly refer to as El Molcajete is the only woman who makes any sense in radio. Alice Lara!
Getting my guac on. Good evening, everyone.
And in the center square, Don Jorge Ortiz.
Hola.
I like those boxy books.
Damas y caballeros, recibamos con un fuerte aplauso su mariachi. That's what I love about our show. It's produced in English, but there's always that splash of Spanish, that sazón de español.
Somebody's tuning in like haphazardly. What the heck's going on there?
It's like, what's
going on there, Myrtle? Yeah.
What is the Chips and Salsa show? Nobody really knows what the Chips and Salsa show is, but you got to listen to it, and then you'll know. Our thanks to Mr. Maracas and the official mariachi of the Chips and Salsa show. We have Javier, Victor, Enrique, Santiago, Miguel, Ernesto, Luis, Pancho, Rogelio, and a friend here in the studio. We cannot forget our dear Rogelio. We have a very special show for you tonight. We're so glad you could be a part of it. Give us a call, 602-277-5369. Tonight we're going to be talking about the CNBC Republican presidential debate. And we're going to be talking about politically incorrect Halloween costumes. Our in-studio guest is Dino Eliades. Did we get that first? Eliades. And he'll be talking about all things Greece, in particular their economy. Hello?
Housekeeping. Hey, Martin, it's Alice, the housekeeper. And I wanted to tell you that our show would not be possible without the wonderful... the Divine Dion, who does our social media, Facebook, and then Secret Sonia, and she's our associate producer. I don't know where else came from. Here I am trying to get in here.
You're trying to be in characters, Carmelita. Sometimes, you plan, we had a graph, a chart, we had it all written out. But, hey.
Too much planning, Martin.
Mucho trabajo para mí. No comprendo.
Later on the show, we'll be giving out a $50 gift certificate for our sponsor, Rosita Fine Mexican
Come on,
Restaurant.
don't follow me. Do it right.
For the Chips and Salsa show.
Thank you, George. This segment is brought to you by our friends at Rosita's Fine Mexican Food Restaurants. The only thing better than a bowl of chunky hot salsa and a basket of warm, lightly salted, crunchy corn chips at your table is the second bowl, the second basket of warm, lightly salted, crunchy corn chips. Then they bring you your meal. Chicken enchiladas, chile rellenos, carnitas. Is this heaven? No, it's Rosita's Fine Mexican Food Restaurant. They have a location in Tempe off of Harding and University and a location in Mesa off of Guadalupe and Dobson. They have great specialty dishes and hearty combo plates. Lunch is served till 4 p.m. Then it's time for a margarita. So on your next visit to Rosita's Fine Mexican Food Restaurant, tell them Martin Chili Bean has sent you, and your second basket of chips is free. Why? Because they're crazy. They're just crazy that way. They just bring you the chips as much as you want. Well, speaking of crazy, Alice, George,
Yes, sir.
this past weekend, where were you? Were you watching the CNBC Republican presidential debate?
Yes, and that was kind of a fiasco. The news really kind of put their foot in their mouth, and I think my man Jeb Bush really kind of put his foot in his mouth by going after Rubio.
Yeah, that was a smackdown by Rubio.
He just smacked him. Good.
It wasn't pretty.
It wasn't good. Jeb didn't know what to do.
I don't think Jeb recovered from it. Alice, what did you think?
Oh, no. he's not my guy. Jeff's never been my guy. But it seemed like he couldn't come out of it at all. Cruz, oh my goodness, what good. Have you guys heard about this? I understand. I think one of them had talked to Cruz. People have photographic memories. He has an audiographic.
I've never even heard of such a term.
I know.
Does it exist?
Evidently, he came back and he watched it. He said, "This guy said this, this guy said that, and here's what you're talking about." Boom, boom, boom. That explains.
Glenn Beck does that?
Glenn Beck was talking to Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz.
Cruz has
Oh yeah, he did do that. That was weird when he did that. Yes.
And maybe that's why he's such a fantastic debater, because he could just pull facts. And I never thought, I just thought, well, he's just a super brilliant man, and he is a brilliant man. He's a fantastic debater. But he walked him.
Yeah.
He walked him. Well, hosted by CNBC, the third Republican presidential debate, what I thought was absolutely deplorable. Look it up in the dictionary. With the biggest weakness question, that quote, biggest weakness, the first question of the debate, the gang of moderators instantly threw out the window any and all journalistic integrity. Goodbye. The debate degenerated into a game of dodgeball. A series of gotcha questions about character and qualifications were hurled at each of the candidates with the intent to embarrass, mock, and shame. Despite the format, though, I thought the debate delivered some surprises for me. I thought that Kasich, and I'm surprised to say Kasich, whatever, as if I really care. Kasich, potato. I thought he actually did really well. Fiorina, very pleased. She did very well. Cruz, biggest winner of the night. I'll just tell you kind of my feelings overall with regards to each one of these, and I'm going to rank them on a scale of 1 to 10. Let's call it the Chips and Salsa power ranking, presidential power ranking. Rank number 1, Trump. I don't think he trended up or down from any of the other debates. Always the Donald. He showed some campaign stagecraft and maturity this time. I was pleasantly surprised to see that. Number 2, on the rank, Ted Cruz. I think he went up to 1 for me. He showed he's tough, articulate, knowledgeable, great memory, like you said, and he's capable of handling a variety of issues. Boom, 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 boom. Anything that's thrown at him. Like a shortstop in a baseball game.
He's always ready.
He's always ready. Jeb. Now, Jeb is in my final 4. I had him at 2. He drops down a spot to 3. He still appeared presidential to me, but he also seemed uncomfortable. He had that ruddy face. Could you tell his face looked a little red? The glassiness and
he doesn't need this job, he doesn't need this job.
He wasn't looking great. Fiorina, I think she's up too. I put her in my 4th rank. She conveys difficult social, economic, and political concepts in a clear and concise manner. It's one of the things that really is charming about her. I really like that about her. And she had a couple of gems during the debate. The one thing that I like that she said is, we have a 73,000-page tax code. I'll reduce it to 3 pages. 3 pages will level the playing field. Then later, when talking about lost jobs, she said, and there should be a fact checker on this, but she said 92% of all jobs lost during Barack Obama's first term belonged to women. Do you think that's true, Alice?
I don't know. I don't really know about that.
It's an awfully high number.
I think she's too smart to do something else to verify that.
She's very.
There's got to be something.
Well, she's smart enough to know that. With this remark at the end, because I loved it, she said, "In your heart of hearts, you can't wait to see a debate between Hillary Clinton and Carly Fiorina." And at that point, I thought, game, set, match, Fiorino, yeah, baby. So she's number 4 on my power ranking.
What about Christie and his attacks when they were trying to talk about the football?
The fantasy football. Yeah, that was interesting. He managed to say that, are we really talking about fantasy football? Enough.
The cats did a really good job about coming and attacking the media. And nobody, I heard this said, no one on that panel evidently was going to vote for Republicans. They were all about attack. And I just think, I'll give one to the Republicans. Finally, they look a little bit unafraid and ready to go on the offense instead of the defense. So I was pleased with that. Now, I watched it in part, then I went to fair and came back and watched it later.
But the debate lacked substance.
The debate was really a wreck, but it gave the candidates an opportunity to shine. And I think Kasich shined very well. He sounded conservative. He sounded like he knew what he was talking about, well qualified for the position that he's seeking. He's firm, and yet he came across as a little bit more likable. Ben Carson, for me, he's down in 6th position, down from 5. And here's the thing, not a fan. You would not hire a politician to perform brain surgery. So why, tell me why, under this clear blue sky, would you hire Carson to run our country? Yes, he's cool, calm, and collected under fire, but that doesn't qualify you to be the president of the United States. Huckabee's flat at 7, Rubio 8. He's down 4 positions to number 8. Christie flat at 9. Folksy, old-fashioned campaign style is too hokey for me. And 10, Rand Paul. Yes, he talked truthfully, but it's not going to help him. He's not going to win. Stay tuned. Stay with us right here on the Chips and Salsa Show. We're coming back with a spectacular topic and guest.
I'm so sorry.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
okay.
Okay.
That was
I'm
tight.
gonna ask you
Okay.
about
Tight.
tax code.
You were funny enough when
I
you
heard
said,
that
this
you
is
cut
Alice?
down to 3
I went like,
I'm like,
oh,
why did I say
What's that? You're gonna ask
Well, I'm gonna bring that up again.
Alice,
But I think
but it's okay. We laughed it off.
the tax code?
You know, we had graphs, we had charts, Alice. We played it off.
I think it was,
Is it-
you know
is
what?
it possible, or-
Well, I
I
think
was
it's
ready.
possible,
I
but
thought
I
I was
mean,
ready.
I don't know what.
Rocket
I mean,
boom. Why?
It depends
I don't know
on
what
the-
she's. Yeah, I don't know what she's gonna put on those 3 pages, so I can't answer that.
You're not used to being there. You're not used to seeing me from
Can
this
I bring
angle.
that?
How are you feeling right there?
Huh?
How are you feeling in the center square?
I don't know.
Does it feel weird?
Yeah.
George usually sits right there, and Alice usually sits right there. So it's almost like our mojo
Not
is off a
very
little
feng
bit.
shui or whatever they call
So
it.
No.
they wanted me to sit there so I could see the guy in the window.
How did it feel to you? How did it
They
feel?
think I was off
Sound
key
was
because
good.
of
I
the
wanted
guy.
to jump in though.
I had my back towards that guy.
Firing it off.
Here I
Didn't
could
have
see him
time.
when he's going
So I
like
wanted to
that.
fight you. Those guys, that's good.
I kept going over.
That's okay. You know what? We got the thing started, and can't wait to hear it because that was tight.
I liked it. We're not lagging. We're moving.
I mean, we got a whole segment. We got a whole segment worth of stuff in that first one. We did it.
The timing wise was good. It was going good.
How long was the Rositas
It's
commercial?
very natural.
24.
Good.
Yeah, natural flow of conversation.
Great.
I don't
That's
think
what
anybody, a normal
It's
listener.
like
53
to go around.
points.
Yes.
Well,
Chocolate
under,
and moving quickly.
I was telling Dino that I wanted to come back to that
We had a whole
tax
routine
code
with
up
the
to 3 pages. But he said
That's-
he was trying to read it, but he doesn't know what she's talking about.
That's cute though.
What is she gonna
I
put
like
in
your
those? Yeah, I don't know what
pictures
she means
on
by
that.
that.
I don't know. It would be crazy because the first
It
page
wouldn't
would
have
have to be instructions.
Yes.
The second page would actually be the disclosures, and then the third page your signature or what? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's. I mean, I'm all for simpler tax, but I don't think it's gonna go
It's
down.
not
You know,
gonna
that's not gonna.
The only
She was
the only
going
part
for
that didn't
that.
make sense about that was when Ted Cruz tried to one up her by going, "Well, all you'll have to do with me if you elect me is send in a postcard. All you have to do is send in a postcard
who had
because
that
I'm going to
right?
eliminate the IRS."
Remember who started that? Forbes.
Well,
Steve
that's
Forbes
how
was-
it was. If you're talking about really, okay, if you're gonna talk about limiting the IRS
But
and
then
only
you wanna
having a
have-
consumption
I think
tax,
Steve
then that's the
Forbes
difference.
wanted
Because that's
like
how it
flat
was
tax.
prior
Yeah,
to
and he said, all you
1913.
need is one little
Was
postcard. So
all
we-
the taxes was on
Oh, I see
sales.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Send it in.
But and tariff. But the math, they were all silly with the math. I'll do 10%. I'll do 13. I'll do 22. Come on. Okay, so the mariachi is done. We're gonna have. So Alice, you're bringing in the second, and we're queued up and good to go on that. I can't wait to hear. That was. Okay, so Alice brings in the second. I'm not in the second. Okay, we're wrapping up. And George? No, because this is good. This is Alice's
I
second.
should say. We are back here with the Chips and Salsa Show. This is Alice Nada. To my left is fine, it's bright, and like an anyway, Lauren Gonzalez. And here also,
It's true, it's me.
the alacran. It has 40 hours tonight, so we're ready to rock.
I'm ready to rock.
We have a fantastic.
Andy, wait, can I just say, Andy had a bottle of champagne too, so he's rocking.
Oh man, he's rocking.
He's full of bubbly. Es muy bubbly.
I shouldn't have started.
Es muy pop.
Hey, I want to remind our listeners, we are going to be giving away that $50 gift certificate for us. So you can start calling now. Call in. Jacob will take your name and number, and we'll pick a winner by the end of the show. So you can call in at 602-277-KFNX-5369. That's 602-277-KFNX-5369. Or even if you're not, you live out of, maybe you live in Tucson, maybe you plan to visit Phoenix. It's worth your call in at 866-536-1100, 866-536-1100, and you get your certificate and you'll receive this.
Let me tell you something. It would be worth a day trip. It would be worth the 120-mile drive from Tucson to Tempe to eat at Rosita's.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
I'd do it. Absolutely. Alrighty, so let's see. Now we have some special music for us. We're OJ fans or what?
Do you remember the OJs?
I absolutely used to love them.
Big fan of this kind of music, R&B.
I'm dancing out. So is our guest. Oh, yeah. The almighty dollar. All right. Well, first of all, I'm going to tell you, this is a very good friend of mine that we're bringing on the show here. And his name is Dino Eliadis. I want to screw his name and say Eliadis. He is an engineer by day, but a financial advisor by night. He's state commitment, and he's also the first vice chair for legislative district Republican district. Oh, sorry, 18. Alex Fowler gets the award for this person. So, hand it to me. I still have more to come.
It's still early. You know, we're only 22 minutes into the show.
You're in my seat. That's right.
God only knows what you could screw
You
up.
know what? An audience should know this. We switched seats tonight. So he's in, what do you call it? He's in the center square.
He's in the center. George is in the center square.
I'm sitting in your seat. So that's nice. I like that. That's really nice.
Our mojo is off though a little bit in that way, isn't it? It's kind of different.
Well, the reason we decided to have Dino on tonight is Dino is just recently returned from a trip to Greece. And I've known him for a long time from another radio show we done together. And we started having him into the financial report because even though he's an engineer, I said, how do you know so much about what's going on in the world? You keep up with everything, all things financial, the country's debt, and all that. And he said, well, I can do that. I can do something else.
I thought we were going to talk about food.
We can talk about
Dolmades, panicopita. We're not going to talk about that.
That's very good.
What are we going to talk about
it. I
then?
bet you had some great food.
Oh,
Yes, I did.
man.
Okay, so real quick, tell us what was the best thing you had.
The best thing, I don't know if everybody would like this, but it's something that I enjoy very much. It's called coconutsi.
It sounds good already.
Yes, it is very good. No, it's meat. It's lamb, and I don't want to spoil it. Look it up because if I describe it, people aren't going to eat it. But once you taste it, it's delicious. No, it's something that it's just. So the preparation of it is some of the insides of the lamb. They grind it out, and then they take a small intestine and they wrap it.
Oh boy, here we go. You said intestine.
Manure.
No, it's not that. It's kind of like that, and it's kind of it's kind of like in the sense that it's wrapped around a skewer and cooked that way, and then you slice it up and you have it with salad or potatoes, bread, feta.
All right, we'll mix them up. Okay, so let's get to all this financial stuff. Speaking of the debate, where they tried to talk about finances, and one thing that I don't hear about, we'll talk about this in just a second, but I do want to get your real quick take on this $20 trillion debt that we're coming up on. What do you think? They just raised the debt ceiling.
Yeah, they just raised it to 19.
To infinity.
Yeah. I understand that they don't want to go through another shutdown because it makes them bad, but this is just putting us deeper in the hole that's going to make it tougher for anyone to get out of. But I hate to say this, but in order to fix this, we have to go through some pain. We've reached a point where if anybody resolution that we're not going to go through some kind of pain is delusional because it's so fast. I mean, it's more than what we make in a year. So there's no way that you can't go through some pain to come out of this significant.
Is there a candidate among the, let's say, the top even 7 tier units that has a food plan that is seriously compromised?
I'm not sure. I mean, they all say that we're going to cut the spending, reform programs. I mean, 70%. See, here's the problem. 70%, almost 70%, 67, 68% of the federal money spent is Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security.
70%.
Yes.
They actually mentioned that.
Yeah, Social Security, and the military, and then the interest on the debt. The biggest two being Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. Social Security is 50 billion, and then Social Security is 780 billion or something like that. And then we're adding 10,000 people a day to Social Security. So every day is 10,000 people. It's going to be that way for the next, I want to say 12, 15 years, something like that. It's all the baby boomers. We're the last baby boomers. So that's the rate.
I'm a baby boomer.
Yeah, that's what it's based on. That 10,000 a day is the baby boomer. And then the last one, that's when but we have 92 million people that are not working. Now, granted, 93 million. 71 is retired, and 22 is out of work. So you're going to have. Our ratio is 3 to 1. Our ratio of workers to retirees is 3 to 1. In 15 years, it'll be 2 to 1. In the 40s, it was 16 to 1. We're going to have to raise the age. Who's going to be able to push that through legislation?
So do you think, since you just came from Greece and they have their own problems, are we just going with Greece?
Yes. The only difference between Greece and us is that we're just further behind them. We're on the same road. They're just ahead of us. We're looking at them through the windshield of our car. We're looking at them down the road.
And what's the energy there with the people there that are just undergone so much?
I'm glad you asked that. So that's some of the interesting things I learned about not just being in Greece, but just human nature in general. Even under such economic bad conditions, people try to look for normality. That's the thing I noticed when I went and walked. Okay, so the city my relative from my dad's side was from the city of Thessaloniki. It's the second largest city in Greece. It's 1.5 million people. It's in northern part of Greece, near Turkey, Bulgaria, that area. And when I landed there and I would walk around, I noticed people, even under such hard times, are trying to do their own life. They go shopping, they go walking around.
So you think this is like a survival mechanism?
It's a survival mechanism because you can't allow this thing to consume you, otherwise you'll go insane.
Do you think that for these Americans, I mean, sometimes I feel like I'm going through that myself because when I start, just the facts that you state, and you and I and the people in this room, we pay attention to politics, we pay attention to what's going on. How are we even still surviving this? How are we sustaining this?
Oh yeah, it's on the back of their minds. When you talk to them, when you ask them what's going on, that's always on the back of their mind. I'm not saying it isn't on the back of their mind, but they try to, just go through the normal routines in order to not, otherwise what are you going to do? I mean, you're going to just sit at home and just allow this to consume you. So you go, you see people just going about shopping and things like that, and from the surface, it doesn't look that bad. It really doesn't. You can't tell until you start digging into it, and you start noticing how bad it is.
Could they ever pull out of it?
So, just like here, they have to leave Europe. If they keep feeding them the money, they'll never get out of this situation. Their debt is double their GDP. They can't pay that back, and they can't keep them under the conditions that they are. It's just that, for the next 80 years, it's going to be like, there's no way, that's not going to happen. And the reason why I say they have to leave, and it'll hurt a lot, but you have a very corrupt system there, and as long as you keep feeding that money, you're never going to force them to fix the system. When the money train stops, they have to face the music. But as long as they keep feeding this money, and I know why the European Union doesn't want them to leave, because if they leave, then others are going to say, well, if Greece left, then I want to leave too.
Right. So you think that they will do that?
I think it's going to just happen because. Are we close to a hard stop?
Just keep going.
Okay. It's going to just happen because the way the euro was set up was a system made to collapse. You have all these sovereign. I'll get back to it. You have all these sovereign nations, and we'll get back to that. Yes.
So please don't go away wherever you are. Get your coffee, get your chips and salsa, and we'll be back with the Chips and Salsa show here with Dina Rios, our special guest, Martin Gonzalez, George Ortiz, and me, housekeeping Alice Lara.
Alice, I like that. Go
Yeah,
go refill your chips
that's
and
a
salsa.
live
And we'll be
stream.
right back.
That's for the show here.
You got time?
We did the
You got time to go get some.
KFNX website.
You know
Then
what
you're
I
seeing
should
that
said?
live, but it's erased after the show.
Next time,
You can
yeah.
see it while you're listening.
Stay through the news.
This one,
Either stay through the news or grab
you
your
go to
chips.
our
Grab
podcast,
refill your chips and salsa.
website.
And that
We
way it
have a live here
connects us to
right
the
now
show.
of all
You
the
know
shows. So you can
Love
see
this.
it anytime.
Love this topic, by the way.
If you have to
It's
go to our
very. There are
website,
some very interesting
and
parallels
type in
between what's happening with us. There are also
Sonia
some
Salsa S.
distinct differences.
And then
So
Los
I'll
Amigos and
be
Salsa
chiming in on the second round.
We have
with
an
you.
invite-
That's what I was saying. It's very important
between
because
Friday and Saturday.
I want to give them a
Saturday
big
show
picture. I mean, I want to
is
get back to
Chips and
Greece again,
Salsa
but
show.
I won't dwell on the euro. I mean,
This one is
that
You
is
have to dwell on the
Los
euro.
Amigos.
Yeah, I have to, but that
I'm not saying you have to. I'm saying
It
general.
does,
You
yeah,
have to
that
because
can
that's
become
part of
a
the
topic.
problem.
It'll just become a topic in
You go to
itself.
Sonia
Yes.
Salsa S.
Yes. You
Yeah.
talk about
Yeah, you
Germany
got
and
it
the
like
euro,
right
and
now.
that's an hour list right there.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I'm
But I
Just
just want to give a
Germany and
nice synopsis of it. It's like, why is this doomed to fail?
Else to
That's
give
what I wanted
me.
to say. Doomed to fail.
Doomed to fail.
This will be on.
We're going to call this
on our
segment
site.
Doomed to Fail. Except that you've got
Right, they just go to our site.
George. You're bringing in the third, and then Alice does the live read.
Right, I'll reintroduce
Iliad. I was trying to think of something else, Greek food, and I love bringing it in with Greek food because every food is one of those unifiers. So
It is.
not everybody talks about the policy, but we've all eaten Greek food. You know what I mean?
And that's the other thing I want to talk about because of Greece is the adaption, the businesses, the things I noticed different from just 3 years ago, what popped up, stores and things like that, and what's become popular versus 3 years ago, due to the fact that people don't have money, so they have to become creative. So I want to bring that up. And it's no different than here.
You're gonna do another
no different.
promo later.
That not as
Yeah,
extreme.
I'm going to do
It's
that.
not as
Then
extreme.
Jenny Light.
But I noticed it here.
Can you? How tight is the unemployment rate?
Well, you're gonna do the dentistry.
It's around,
That's my life.
I'm sure that would be
it's like 25, 30%. I think it's 25%.
I would.
25 something.
I
25.
I would have guessed 30
Yeah,
to
no, you'll take
35
over.
like in Puerto Rico because
What you
we
can do is you can say,
underwrite Puerto
I know
Rico
you
the
wanted
way
to,
the
you wanted
euro's
to push
underwrite.
it. You talk
You
to
stay in
Sal,
here.
you talk to
You can't come back in. You can't knock on the door.
Covered her.
I can say,
In fact, I called them the Spanish version of Scott Walker. It looks like Scott Walker.
who does?
The previous governor of Puerto Rico. He was very concerned. Yeah.
Was Scott Walker your guy? He's
Yes.
from Wisconsin.
Yes.
You're from
But you know what I'm talking about. I forgot his name. He made a lot of changes. He reduced one of the regulations there and stuff like that. He got. I don't know why Puerto Rico. I mean, that guy was doing good stuff. Unless they undid it all.
Welcome back to the Chips and Salsa show, and we're here with our guest
It's Friday night, folks. What can we say?
Dino, good friend of mine, and Alice.
Yes, sir.
You wanted to
Yes, we're going to get right back to Dino in just a moment, and it's going to continue because he has a lot of important stuff to say. But what I want to tell you first is really important. We have a sponsor. He is my dentist, Dr. Spells name for you, Menghini. I think he's the best dentist in Phoenix. He's the best dentist in Arizona, maybe the best in the world. I just love him. Mark and I have been going to him for 8 years. He specializes in bite alignment, and he just does a fantastic job. He does all kinds of stuff. It's really nice. He's from there. He's 1998. He's been coming to the local high school. I love him. And he's got a really easy phone number too. It's 602-678-0678. 602-678-0678. Fantastic staff. Kayla is the office manager. I know it's late right now, but if you want to make an appointment, call this number, 602-678-0678. And leave a message. She'll call you back Monday and make an appointment to go see Dr. Menghini. And that's Dr. Menghini, Menghini. 602-678-0678. Conveniently located, 51 in Lawndale, 16th Street. He's so interested. I know George is going to do this. I'm going to make it for you, George.
Before my teeth fall off, yes.
Is Menghini Greek? Is he Greek too?
He's Italian.
He's Italian? He's not Greek? He's not Greek?
Still in Europe.
That's true. Italy is in the European Union, and they're weak too. Spain, Greek,
Portugal.
Portugal, Ireland, right? It's a wreck. Es un wreck. Como dicen en español. Es un wreck. It's the only Spanish we're going to speak today.
So
Some slang here. That's what I know best, the slang, right?
So we were talking about Greece.
Yes.
I'm in favor.
Dino,
The greasier the
how
better.
do the people, how are they reacting to all the changes that have taken place because of the?
Well, they're not happy about it because the solution is just taxing them more, which who wants to pay more tax? They already pay an incredible amount even before this, and then they're now just paying even more. And that's what I was saying before about why this is all doomed to fail. When the euro was created, they made the assumption that all the governments would be honest or proper in handling their budgets. But where if you have a country that mismanages or is corrupt and misuses their funds, and then you have to go bail them out. I mean, it's a sovereign nation. You can't go tell them what to do unless you're going to go invade the country. So that's the problem. You have the only way the euro could have worked is that if you had all these nations that were all always honest and always properly handled their funds. And you don't. You have countries that don't do that.
Yeah, that always happens, right?
Yes. And so when they run out of money and go into debt and the corruption remains and then you keep lending them money, you're just throwing more into the hole. That's why I'm saying it's doomed to fail, because they're not going to change until you force them to change. And the only way you can do that is making them leave.
Dino, it's, and I hear what you're saying about the honesty, and that's important. We should always keep integrity on the table. But really, the problem was what goes back to the very beginning when the European Union went to the euro, or these 13 these countries went to the euro, because they now had a common currency, but they did not have a common fiscal policy.
Exactly. That's my point. That's what I was trying to say. When Greece was supposed to enter in 1999, to give you a good example, and they couldn't because one of the conditions is you had to be under 3% inflation. They were 15 at the time. 15. Yes.
Which, by the way, when they pull out of the European Union, which they will, their inflation is going to go through the roof.
Like I said, it's going to be
Again.
painful, but they have to flush this bad debt. So
go back to the drachma.
Then 2 years later, they were down to 3%. How did they do that? They cooked the books. And then the European Union took them at its word, and then once they got the European Union, their credit rating went through the roof, and then they could start borrowing like crazy. And they lied to the people. I mean, they didn't tell them all the money they were borrowing. As far as the people knew, they thought everything was great, but it wasn't. It was all this stuff was happening behind the scenes. And now they're forced to these high taxes. One of them is the VAT tax, or in Greece they call it PPI. It's just a Greek acronym for the same thing. They're paying 23%, but it's not 23% on everything. There's 13%, but that's only on certain. Basically, it's on certain foods that are either raw or unprocessed, and 23% pretty much on everything else. But even in Vienna, when I stopped there as a layover to Greece, I bought a souvenir item and I paid 20% there. Pretty much anywhere in Europe is at least 20%. You think Greece is the highest at 23? No, Denmark's the highest at 25%, 50% higher. But everybody's paying that. And then now, starting January, businesses are going to have to pay taxes, their income tax, up front before they earn an income.
Wow.
Yeah, I just found that out when I was there. Yeah. Exactly, that's my point. This is just going to get the very people that fund the system, they're destroying them, just like we're doing here.
Do the people trust the banks so they keep more money?
No, so I'm glad you brought that up. So they still have a capital control. You can't take out more than 420 euros cash a week. So once you hit 420, 420 is about, it's about 500,
That's
it's about
$25.
500, 480, $490. And what's happening for those that can afford it is they're taking out the maximum whether they need it or not and building up cash.
Squirreling it away.
Yes, even small businesses, when they take cash, they don't put it all in the bank. They keep some cash on hand because they don't know tomorrow the bank could shut down again.
Should we start doing that as Americans?
We're not there yet. But then again, we're not there yet. You can do electronic banking, but that's not going to help you if they shut down. So yeah, there's a lot of people that are uneasy, so they're keeping as much cash as possible. And the reason why they have the capital control is because then people would go in and just pull all the money out, and then the banks would need to be infused again with more cash. That's why they're doing it. But yeah, there's no trust. There's no trust in a politician. That's the other thing. Oh, that's the other thing I learned. So, and I didn't know this until my past visit, because I thought it was still in place. It used to be you had to vote in Greece. You had to. I don't know what the punishment was if you didn't, but everybody had to. Because I remember as a kid there in the 80s, and I went with my aunt one time, and all the businesses closed for that day, typically on a Sunday, I think it was. And then everybody had to go and vote. But in the late 90s, 98, 99, they changed the law and they made it voluntary. I didn't know that until now. And guess what? As terrible as the situation is over there, 45% of the people still did not vote. And I asked around why. Why, under such dire conditions, wouldn't more people vote? And they said, for the people that I talked to, but I believe it, is that either one, they live in their own bubble. We've heard that before, and they don't care. As long as their little world is fine, they're good. And the other part is that they don't trust any of the parties, and they figure that no matter who they vote in, they're going to be just as corrupt as the other one, so it doesn't matter.
So would you say, I mean, it's almost like looking at a little future mirror, right? That's everything that you're saying. It's frightening. What is our hope? And you and I had this conversation too, because we pay such a high amount of interest on our debt in the United States. So the interest rates are still almost nil.
Yeah, because we're the how do I say it? Less bad than Europe. That's what it is. We're the least of the worst, the lesser of the currencies out there, because the ECB decided was it earlier this year, several months ago it was last year, to start printing more money, 60 billion euros a month. So they started infusing more cash into the market. We haven't yet, but we're going to have to. See.
But we have with quantitative easing.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is.
That's all they're doing.
Yes. I don't know how much you talked about this, but quantitative easing basically means is that to print money, you have to sell bonds. That's how it works. And that's where the central bank comes in, because people aren't really buying on debt. What it is, the central bank buys most of it, and then infuses that cash into the system, just poof out of the air. That money is it. So they buy the bond. Yeah, ta-da! Here's the cash. And at some point, they're gonna not trust us. That's where you're forced, right? So when are gonna be forced? When the bond market doesn't trust us anymore. I'm afraid that's the point. In other words, just like in 2008 when they were selling the mortgage-backed securities. Well,
we're still far. It sounds like we still have some time.
We have some time because Europe is doing it more than us. That's what I mean. I call it the race to the bottom. It is. And just like the housing market, when they were selling the mortgage-backed securities and spreading that bad little bad mortgages around. As long as somebody was buying and selling, the market kept moving until one morning there wasn't enough sellers. I mean, there wasn't enough buyers, and all of a sudden the sellers panic, and that's when you have the same thing here. You have this moving of bonds, buying and selling of bonds. I mean, granted, the central bank is buying, but the central bank isn't bigger than the world. And as long as the belief is that we can pay our debt, then this keeps moving. But once you don't have enough buyers, then the panic selling will start. And once they start dumping bonds, there's nothing you can do to control about that. I'm saying, when are we going to be forced to do something? I think when we hit that point.
It's riveting. Just, we could do 3 or 4 hours on this stuff. I told you what Dino probably
Gino's the man.
easy.
I have nightmares now. How do you want to get my money out the pillow?
Didn't have financial management before.
Well, we shall return with the chips and salsa show. It is scary.
Very
Do you want me to talk about some more specific things going on in Greece? We'll have a kind of
We're going to come back.
We'd love
now.
to, but in this segment we have some other housekeeping things. Okay.
You're welcome to join
what time
in on
is
the
it?
fun stuff.
holy crap.
Yeah, our show goes really quick. Let me
We
get
did
to.
have a caller.
We did.
We did have
Oh, wiener.
We have
a wiener.
It's almost
we didn't have to put the
in the way.
I know, but you put it on the table.
Now it's gonna pick up.
So we're also, we should talk about this.
Yes.
Okie dokie, artichoke.
Sonia, you are taking the YouTube Summer Salsa Fest. We need
Yes.
to talk about that on Facebook. We can do all that in this lesson.
What are we doing?
The fact that she's got us on YouTube, which we should have said that in the first segment. Because somebody could watch us right now on YouTube.
Yeah, because it's streaming live
Welcome back. You're listening to the Chips and Salsa Show.
for the for their website here. But we're doing it now. We started this week.
We're going to come back and I'm going to do we're bringing it back.
I love all the talk on Greece.
What's that?
I love all the talk about Greece. It's because it's a study for us. So whether you're talking about here are the Feds or you're talking about the Troika, it's the same thing. What they're doing.
But it's too bad I didn't have, unless there's a couple minutes, I can just give a rundown of some of the corruption that they did over there. It's phenomenal. I mean, not that we have corruption here, but the stealing of people's money is.
Well, yeah, they just took the money out of the bank accounts. They just literally.
Yeah, they just. I mean, one of the previous prime ministers was Papandreou, who was party of the Socialist Party called the Sun. He lives in all his life. He's been in government. He's never owned a business. Maybe he's made investments. I don't know, but I mean, he didn't have a company or something. He lives in a $10 million mansion. His salary is $350,000-400,000 euros a year. That doesn't get you a $10 million mansion. Where did he get all that money? He's still up.
I'm sure. And whatever else he gets,
It's on the salsa.
influence and things like that.
There's so much bribery going on in the government.
It sounds like Mexico.
Fourth segment, so it's there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bring in the fourth segment, and I'm going to say we want to express our gratitude to Monica Lara for our logo, David Beasley for the music, and Jacob, our board op. And just want to let you know that next week we have Jeffrey Craver. And so be sure to listen into our next Friday edition. Jeffrey is a fast and furious whistleblower.
Have you heard him?
No, I haven't.
He's on with James Tila.
Really?
He's on every week.
And then George, do you want to say in the fourth? Be sure to listen to our. So when I'm done with the whistleblower, do you want to say?
We should
Listen to the Saturday edition.
And then I'll do the Rositas.
And then you'll do the. And then after you, you'll do the. You'll do the rositas. The music is in my blood. I love it there and more. I just get so amped up. I just love listening to our music. And we want to give a special thank you to David Beasley for the music. We sure appreciate him and Monica Lara for the logo and Jacob, our board up. Jacob, you're the man. Thank you so much for all you do.
I just have some proof that there's a picture of David as Thor. So on Facebook,
Thor.
see David as Thor.
And we invite you to listen to our show this next Friday's edition, coming up in 7 days. We're going to have guest Jeffrey Prather. Jeffrey is a Fast and Furious whistleblower. Woo! When I said whistleblower, I was thinking of, remember the cartoon, the Flintstones? And they would blow the whistle, and they would pull the bird's feathers or something. And so, anyway, it got me thinking about that.
And be sure to tune in to our Saturday segment of the Chips and Salsa show at 6 p.m. with our new sports segment, which starts at 5:30. And check it out on the internet site, www.thechipsandsalsashow.com, and tap the Listen Live button, and you'll be listening to us live on Saturday. And some Saturdays we do chilling after the show. So that's another segment on YouTube that we do.
Yeah, we do a chilling after the show, and actually it's chipsandsalsashow.com, and it's really cool. And right now, in fact, you can go to YouTube. You go to school there and you search Sonia, S-O-N-I-A, Salsa, and you can watch us on YouTube. So nice videos from right here. So it's all fun, all kinds of stuff. And KFNX also has the lyrics from it as well.
And we got to remind them that for the Friday show, they got to go to the Amigos in Salsa. That's separate than the Chips and Salsa. It's all on.
You mean you're talking podcast?
No, the YouTube.
So I said that like they're supposed to do those things and salsa.
Well, Sonia Salsa has to go to a separate. We're dividing the Fridays and the Saturdays show.
On YouTube.
Yes.
And just sprinkle the magic, and you got a great show. George, I was going to ask you, because you're doing the sports show on Saturdays, and I love that you're doing that. I wanted to ask you what you thought of the game the other night, the Ravens and the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, it was great. They had me, the Ravens scared me there for a little while.
I know. And then all the way to the end, huh?
Oh, yeah.
It was close.
And I'm upstairs there with the owners, and I was like, oh, crap. And everybody felt until the Cardinals took the lead and kept the lead.
And then that pick at the end, that was just a relief. It was, thank God, somebody caught the ball that was wearing a red jersey.
It was scary.
Yeah, they could have scored. Now they're playing the Browns on the first. Who do you got money on? Browns? Cardinals? Yeah? Even though they've got Joe Football playing? Johnny Manziel? You are faithful, and I love the Arizona Cardinals too. Shout out to our Arizona Cardinals.
And also shout out now, in fact, I think we're ready to give away, but I'm going to give you a quick little update. One thing about Rosita's sponsor, I found out that you can go in there and you can tell your university party. Excellent Mexican food. I love it. And I want to announce them again, so that's a really hot Mexican food.
You like the one that's more runny, not chunky.
Exactly. Hot.
I didn't know that.
It's really cool, and on your sixth visit, you get and you have kids for you. So make sure when you go in there, tell them to also tell them that
Martin Chili Bean sent you. You know why? Because you're going to get the second bowl of, or the second basket of chips for free.
Totally worth it. Totally worth it. I go there right now. Hey, do we have a $50 certificate?
Yes, we do. Congratulations to Kayla. Kayla. It is a nice name, spelled just like it sounds. What does that even mean? Anyway, Kayla, you know who you are because you called us. So you're probably at home thinking, all right, yes. You're doing that, yes, with your arm and the whole thing. Maybe you're jumping in the air. Maybe you're doing like a somersault. Oh, she's practicing. Yeah. Scoop one, mouth two. Scoop one, mouth two. Scoop one.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. $50. You know what you can buy with $50 at Rosita's? Pretty much practically anything. So we're so glad that Kayla is listening, and we're so glad that she won. We're so glad that Rosita's is a sponsor of ours. This is a very wonderful thing. It's also familia. You know what? Aquí entre nos.
We're celebrating our 1 year anniversary.
¿Qué sentido?
November, tomorrow actually we'll do a little bit more celebration.
¿Qué sentido?
The Chips and Salsa show.
And maybe we'll dress up tomorrow. Speaking of that, one time we'll look up politically incorrect costumes. Because when
Yes.
I wanted to do tonight, guys, I was going to come up with this thing burqa. I was thinking about it. And just
I think you should wear burqa all the time.
But then I thought, no, you're on the way. I'm going to be up there. That would actually not be a good idea. Isn't that terrible? I had to think that way.
I wanted to wear a Donald Trump mask.
I saw that one you had on last Saturday.
That was a brainiac.
What about?
I might have that one tomorrow.
Well, what if you dressed up the leather? Who decided to do that? Would we not have to since we're all doing it for switch?
I would put a bandana on my head.
Banana?
Bandana.
Used to be though, remember a while back you could tell what it is what it is and how they I don't think it's really difficult for people to tell unless they're just really some of them been here a long time, they probably speak better English than I do. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna dress up? Are you gonna dress up? Go ahead, you wanna say something, You're saying
I'm
especially
just
tonight,
laughing.
Alice.
No, I'm actually deliberately being silent at the moment because I was just trying to listen because I just think that is so funny that we've created this stereotype of what somebody might look like crossing the border. And I was thinking, whatever they look like if they were crossing through the Rio Grande wet. So if you just showed up soaking wet, that's how you could be, the illegal alien.
Although as one
I was trying to imagine.
actually lived on Paso Robles from Las Cruces, New Mexico. A lot of times that river didn't have much. I can never understand that.
Right.
Very politically friendly. But I never understood that as a kid because you could pretty much walk across that river most of the time. You can't even get your feet wet hardly.
And in Arizona, Yuma, you'd call them alambristas because there's alambre is like a wire. Yeah.
Oh,
Because they're called alambristas. And in Texas, not Texas, in Tijuana too, but there is that marshy part, like between Tijuana and when you go into Imperial Beach, there's that marshy land. So it really would suck to walk through that marshy part of California before you ever get into the United States. So maybe I'm envisioning a guy go, oh, you're an illegal alien because you have mud up to your knees, from crossing in the marsh.
I can think of a lot of bad jokes when I'm
What about Dia de los Muertos? What do they celebrate?
I'm in favor.
Sunday and
I'm pro Dia de los Muertos.
November 1st. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Miss Luce tonight, she could be again. She's like her. She's in Mexico. That's her.
She's like our pulque. Tiene un nopal ahí en la frente.
I understand.
You have?
For the pyramids,
What did that taste like?
It was good.
Pulque? Have you ever had mezcal?
Loading the worm. That's the best part.
I think you put the worm only in the tequila, not in the mezcal. That should be our Facebook question.
Would you drink? Would you eat?
Would you eat the worm?
Okay, what are you going trick or treating or not?
I'm gonna go trick or treat. I'll take my kids trick or treating. Nathan is 12, so I don't know. He'll probably go trick or treating somewhere. Thank you so much for listening to the Chips and Salsa Show. So glad you're a part of it. Will you return next Friday? You're listening to the Chips and Salsa Show.
Hola.